I want to talk to you today about I'm still standing. We all go through difficulties and things we don't understand. And it's easy to get discouraged and think, why am I having these problems? But being a person of faith doesn't exempt us from difficulties. The Scripture says, rain falls on the just and the unjust. No matter how good of a person you are, no matter how much you honor God, you're going to have some rain. A man said to me last week in the lobby, Joel, I'm having more problems than my neighbor down the street that doesn't have anything to do with God. Jesus told a parable about this, where a wise man built his house upon the rock. He honored God. Another man built his house on the sand. He didn't. The winds blew, the rains descended, and beat upon the houses. What's interesting is the same storm came to both people, the just and the unjust. If the story ended right there, you would think, doesn't make a difference to honor God. Same thing happens to me that happens to everybody else. Built my house on the rock, yet I'm in this storm. Got a bad medical report. Child got off course. Lost my biggest client. No, that's not the end of the story. If you judge it too soon, it may seem like it doesn't make a difference. Jesus went on to tell the man that built his house upon the rock, when the storm was over, his house was still standing. The man that built on the sand, his house had washed away. Here's the difference. When you honor God, the storms may come, but you have a promise that others don't have. When it's all said and done, you'll still be standing. And in difficult times, you have to remind yourself, this is not the end. My house is built upon the rock. The enemy doesn't have the final say. God does. And He says, when it's all over, I'll still be standing. You may get knocked down, but you won't get knocked out. You may suffer a setback, have to go through a few things, but don't get discouraged. Don't get bitter. It's just life. It rains on all of us. The promise God gives us is if you'll stay in faith, when the smoke clears and the dust settles, you will not be the victim, you will be the victor. You will still be standing. All of us can look back at things that should have defeated us. That divorce, that bad break should have given you a nervous breakdown. But look at you, you're still standing, happy, whole, restored. That addiction, that partying lifestyle should have killed you, but because of your praying mother, you're still standing. Clean, sober, free. That sickness should have been the end. The medical report said you were done. But God said, I've got another report. It's not over. You're still standing. Or maybe you lost a loved one. Didn't think you could go on. Thought you had seen your best days. But God breathed new life into you. Lifted you out of the pit. Put a new song in your heart. And here you are today, still standing. When you go through some things, you see the goodness of God. You see Him lift you, restore you, promote you, heal you. When you have this history with God, remembering what He's done, you don't get discouraged by every difficulty. You don't fall apart because of a disappointment. You don't get upset because people are talking about you. You know God brought you through in the past, and He's going to bring you through in the future.